Good morning. It is, what day is it? Friday. So been pottering around and, well, a bit more than that. I've washed every downstairs window, including the conservatory and the patio doors in the kitchen. And that's took about an hour so far. Well, an hour and a half. So now a bit of gardening. I've got a field maple, Acer something, which I need to cut back again to make sure I keep on top of it. I can continue to reach the top of it. So we'll do that today. So this is the field maple. Looks a nice tree. It's not too big. It's a little bit close to the hedge. So it might be cutting into that hedge a bit, but we need to lop it off maybe a foot higher than the hedge. That's the aim, and then we can manage it from there onwards. So to start with, I'm just going to go around these lower branches and just taking off a foot or so, so that we'll go back to a bud there, that one there, and so on. So the lower branches are now done. That's just giving it a nice trim. And now we need to take some of the height out of it and just trim down the sides again to just improve the shape. Okay, so that is now done. Just got to do all the tidying up as ever, but just above the hedge now and manageable. Normally I say I've cut out all the bad, but that is a really good condition tree. Wasn't spiky, and yeah, really healthy. So that is, well, without doubt a stayer, and I look forward to looking after that over the next few years. Right, just back from the carpoo, and we have breakfast. We'll get this polished off and then get on with some jobs. And crafters. So first job of the day is to sort out this table. A little bit more expensive than the £1 table and the £2 table. Barley twist, probably 80 to 100, 120 years old. It could well be an antique. An antique, if you don't know, is anything over 100 years old. We think it's around that. Really nicely made. Has got some quite big scratches there. This one in particular is quite deep. So I'm going to try and make that look half decent. Doesn't need to look perfect. It's got to show a bit of age. That's fine. But yeah, we could do with disguising those scratches a little bit. But yeah, it's really nice. Solid sort of draw coming out of here. Barley twist legs. And we think we're going to keep this one. We're not sure, but we might hold on to it for a bit and then take it to an antique booth. But it cost me £9. We got a, well, it was £10 we got him down to, and then we were looking at a bit of studio pottery, and he said, I'll throw you in the studio pottery for free if you take that for a tenner. So yeah, we're calling this £9, studio pottery £1, and the studio pottery will get us back our tenner, no problem. So as such, free, but if you want to say it's £9. So that job is done. Yeah, I like the look of that on the top there now. So fine that there's a few scratches that you can just see, but they don't now stand out. And that is done to a nice standard. I may give it one more coat on the top a little bit later on, 2 or 3 hours from now, but it won't change it much. It'll just protect it a little bit more. So yeah, happy with that. Made that £9 table into, if we were selling that in our old shop down in Devon, we would put 50 quid on that and sell it no problem at all. In some of the antique shops and antique centres, you would get that for about 80 quid. So not bad for 9 and 10 minutes work. So this yucca, I think it is, has to go. Basically, I cut off the tips yesterday off all the leaves so that I didn't get spiked as I'm doing it, but it is pushing back this fence. It wasn't planted in the right place. Maybe it was 20 years ago, but basically it has outgrown it. It's pushing out that fence, which is really important fence for our rabbit proofing, and it's got to go. So yeah, I'll whip that out. It's going to be easier to get it out, not from the roots, but cut it down to about 2 inches. The problem will be getting rid of the actual waste, because it won't really rot down very quickly, that, and yeah, I don't know where that's going, but anyway, we shall sort that later on. The only shame is that it's just started to flower. It's got 2 lovely flowers coming up, but I'm afraid that doesn't rescue it. It's going. All sorted. Not too bad actually. Cut down quite easily, and I've sort of processed the waste. But yeah, that, I mean, this is going to be all cut back, and we'll see what sort of condition it's in. That's going. This is all going to be cleared and then freshly planted next year. We will keep what we can retrieve, but that was just, you see how close it is to the fence. There was no way that could stay there. So yeah, I'll tidy up a bit more, but that's another good job done, and the start of the work on the main border is well underway now. Next job is this dead old Mahonia, isn't it? So yeah, obviously died quite a while ago by the looks of it, but has remained in situ. All around it is just a bit of a mess really, so we will cut that up and process it, cut down all the main branches so that we can use it as firewood, and that will clear a bit more of the main border. So it's September the 1st today. It's actually really quite warm, and the wind's gone down quite a bit. So yeah, this afternoon just going to do a few more jobs, crash out, watch a bit of football or something. And this week, most of this week, we haven't got an awful lot planned, which is probably what we need. We've worked quite hard for well, for ages, but yeah, we work quite hard. So it's just a bit of business, a bit of doing what we do, buying and selling, and I shall be in the garden most days by about at least sort of midday-ish. So yeah, quite an enjoyable week ahead. My daughter moved in with us for about the last 3 months whilst she's in between university and getting a job. So she moves back to Nottingham this coming weekend, or certainly by the end of the week. So yeah, it'll be a bit strange, it'll just be the two of us. Saying that, I've got a mate coming down on Saturday. He's a bit of an animal, so I'm expecting not to be able to get up for a car boot on Sunday morning. And then a couple of days later, our son and his girlfriend come over for a couple of days. They're from Newcastle, so they come down 3 or 4 hours to see us, and they're stopping for 2 days. So yeah, we're not exactly going to be alone, but yeah, my daughter's going, and then we're entertaining for a few days on the trot. So yeah, that's my week. Lots of jobs to do around the garden. Yeah, just a matter of taking it, I'd say, a little and often, or nice and taking it easy. But you know, if you know me, I don't really take things easy. I just crack on with things. I might stop for an hour or so here and there, but I will get a lot of jobs done over the next week or two. Right, that is the Mahonia out. What I did find was there is just an offshoot growing down there of it, which looks quite healthy. So I've been really careful to cut away all the dead. There is just one branch down there, and it's going a bit sort of horizontal, but I reckon that if we move all the crap that's around it, see what that looks like and see if we can still leave that there, and whether it grows okay and looks good for next year. So I don't mind a Mahonia, I don't want a half dead one. So let's see what we can do with that, give it the best chance to survive. So this was a total surprise. That dead Mahonia is hanging on by a thread. Basically, there is, I cut away 90% of it, but there was one branch which still seems perfectly in good condition. I stripped it of all bindweed and everything else. Ivy was all growing up it, and apart from it's at a funny angle, we've got a healthy Mahonia. So we'll see what we can do with that. See if we can build it up, look after it. I've put some fertilizer and some new compost around the root, and it is looking fairly healthy. So yeah, that is a real bonus. Been watching these squirrels for the last hour steal all of our walnuts off the walnut tree. There's 2 squirrels and they're taking it in turns to go and bury them all. There's the next one. Little sods. No walnuts for us this year. Don't mind really, not that bothered about walnuts. What are you doing? You weirdo. You want to go to bed? You ready for bed? Come on. Let's go to bed. Are you coming? Come on. No? You're acting very strange. Don't know what you've done with your bed. With that bed. Eh? Come on, kitchen bed. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, good girl. There we go. All right, I'll see you in the morning. Love you. Morning. It is Thursday morning. Hardly done any gardening, proper gardening this week. The weather has been shit yet again. So anyway, it's not very good today. It's just started raining. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning, but I'm gonna just go out and get on with it. It's only a bit of water. So yeah, just gonna crack on. Went to a garden centre yesterday, a little independent garden centre just down the road from us. First time we've been there. Partney Garden Centre, really good, really nice, friendly people there, nicely set out and not ridiculous prices. Sort of like in between the sort of nursery prices that we go to against the sort of B&Q and the big national garden centres, which are crap and overpriced. So bought an apple tree because we've got a cooking apple tree, a Bramley, but we want some eating apples as well. So we're going to get a few apple trees dotted around the garden. This one's actually going to go into the new main border. So I'm going to get that in. Got some fruit bushes as well. Can't remember what we got, a blackberry I think and a redberry, something like that. Anyway, I'll have a look at that. We'll try and get those in. As I say, it is a bit windy and it's a bit wet, but we just got to get on because what are we on, September the 4th, something like that, 4th or 5th. Yeah, running out of days to, and we've got a hell of a lot to do. I'll show you some of the jobs later on that we need to get on with. I've got a massive wood order being delivered on Friday. Lots of tannalised, treated timber and fence posts and things to be able to put up a few structures in the garden, including a big compost station. We've got to repair the greenhouse, get some polycarbonate for that, and then just basically just rearrange the garden over the autumn and the winter, really get it sorted. So lots to do, so I'm going to have this and then crack on with some jobs. Jenny, hello. Right, let's have a look at this new tree. So this is our new apple tree. It is. Oh, I ain't got my glasses on, so let's hope it's nice big writing. It is one of them, which is that. So, yes, there are apples, you leave them alone. And then we've got a couple of fruit bushes as well, which I've just plonked into there just to protect them. That's what one of the jobs that we're going to do today. 2 rows in that are coming up nicely from where we planted about a week and a half ago. Patch is looking good. And what's in this other bed? Let's have a look. Again, two rows. I think that's the mustard greens. So they're doing all right. So yeah, when I say repair the greenhouse, one, we've got to give it a real good clean up, I think. This one hasn't got any glass in at all. I'm going to replace it with polycarbonate, I think, because then at least I can buy it in advance. I can cut it. It cuts with scissors. I'll replace a lot of the clips because they're very, very brittle, and they're nice and flexible if I'll replace some of them. And then cobwebs in here. That soil is dead. It's dry as a bone. Needs most of it taking out and then replacing with some fresh compost. And it just needs a bit of a tidy up in here, a good clean. And then we shall work out what we're doing, whether we're doing any sort of shelving in here or whether we're just going to put sort of grow bags in and grow from the side. But this is going to be the one that we're actually going to grow stuff in against Kirsten's, which is next door, which is in better condition. Does need a clean, to be quite honest. It's pretty gross. But she's using that as is. The staging is in there already, which we did about a month ago, and she's using that and really is enjoying it. A lot to burn. That is from that Mahonia, and what was that one? Oh yeah, that was a lilac tree, whatever. The one right in the front border. And then there's also all the cordyline stuff as well, which goes down there. So a lot to burn, but it keeps on bloody raining. So it's either raining or it's too windy to have a fire. So yeah, I haven't had a fire for about a week again. Need to do one, but the forecast isn't amazing for the next 10 days. So God knows when I'll do that. It'll all get done eventually. But otherwise, it's all looking good. But let's go and have a look to see where we're going to plant the apple tree. So the main border, obviously I sorted out that Mahonia earlier on in the week. I got rid of that yucca down there. And then the only job I have managed to do in the last couple of days, because making the most of the fact that the soil is a bit easier to dig into, I got rid of all of the old rhubarb, or nearly all of it. I can see some down there. But yeah, all the rhubarb crowns were all sort of like pushing through the soil. They were dead or useless. Jenny, don't do that. Anyway, so yeah, I dug all of that out. One of today's jobs, I'm going to give this a real good dig all the way to the hedge, and then I'm going to take up that turf and incorporate all of this area into the bed, and eventually all of this area here will be the bed as well. We've worked out that we've got two places to put this apple tree. We're going to either put it there, so the bed will sort of taper out so it can go where there's grass now, and that's kind of from the house, the eye line of sort of, it'll be in the middle of those two, so about there. So when we look from the conservatory, we'll see the eucalyptus, we'll see the apple tree, and we'll see the field maple still. Or it could go here in between the walnut and the field maple, and again just in front of where Jenny is. Not sure which. I'm tending to think there, but I asked Kirsten and she said there, so we shall decide. But yeah, pretty miserable looking day up there. There is rain in the air. Well, it's raining now, and there's quite a lot more forecast. Whoop-de-doo. So we've dug the hole, me and Jenny, and we've put some fish blood and bone chicken manure pellets in, and now a bit of compost. So the idea here is to get it so that you're basically putting that in just about level. It can go in maybe about an inch underneath ground level. So I reckon that should just about do it.
Jenny's helping. Darren's planting a tree. So he's digging a hole for our new apple tree. And Jenny's helping him dig. Oh, she's such a help. Oh, lovely. You have to clean her paws before she comes back in.
We've finished, haven't we, Jen? You've been such a help. Thank you. So yeah, that is in. And my only thought is, do I stake or not stake? It's a risk. It's windy, as it always is. But if we can get it in without a stake and it survives and it strengthens, it's probably better. But I'm going to keep an eye on it, and if it seems to be really struggling, I will get a stake in ASAP. But ideally, the stakes, you know, can rub. It's going to be stronger if it supports itself. So we'll try not to stake it, but because of the wind, we might have to. What does happen is this little corner isn't as windy as the rest of the garden, because the walnut tree and the hedge, the wind comes from that direction. So unless it's extremely bad, or just occasionally we get the wind from that direction, I'm hoping it'll be all right, but I will keep my eye on it anyway. So the two fruit bushes are going to start making the very start of where is going to be our fruit cage. So I'll show you where we are in the garden. So just to this side of the kitchen garden, we're going to expand the kitchen garden, and all of this area here is going to be more fruit all along there. I'm going to get a fruit cage. Behind is going to be a compost station with at least 3 bays initially, just about 1.5 meters in from the hedge, and then a further vegetable patch as the fruit cage. So initially I'm going to put the fruit in. Yeah, it's windy again. This is the only problem with everything. Initially I'm going to put the fruit bushes in, and then we'll build the cage around it when that eventually comes. That might be a spring job. I might get through the winter, and at least it won't get the battering of the weather for 4 or 5 months where I don't need it. But yeah, so we have big plans for this area, and this area is quite big. I mean, that is a decent size space. Basically, it'll go right just before the sort of tree line of the oak. So it'll finish about here, but all of that is for fruit and veg and making the compost. So there's our first apple. I had to take that one off because it was too heavy for the branch, but beautiful. We should share that between the three of us. Have a little taste to see what's to come. Have a taste. Very nice. To the inside of the kitchen garden hedge. I'll have to collect all those cuttings up in a minute, but yeah, finished off those 2 fruit trees, so there they are, the very start of the fruits that we're going to be planting. We're not sure whether the fruit cage will go that way or along this way yet. Planting them there is safe because that will cover both possibilities. So yeah, happy with that. They look good. They've had a bit of battering from the wind already. It is quite windy, so they're going to have to get used to that. But I think it'll be okay. I think they'll work there. And then of course I did the apple tree earlier on, which again has had a bit of a battering in the last couple of hours. But all good. So I was going to dig this over today, but I'm not sure I'm going to have time. Hello, Jenny. You all right? Yeah. Oh, where are you off? Where are you going? Okay. Right. Yeah, I don't know whether I'm going to have time. Something else has popped up. So I'm going to leave it there for this week's vlog. It's been a little bit frustrating with the weather, but we've really started on the main border now, and yeah, things are coming together. So thanks for watching. If you could subscribe, I would really appreciate it. Up to about 600 subscribers at the moment. Also, our other channels are the Lincolnshire Pickers. They're very, very close to 1,000 views, and so I'd really appreciate it if you could just subscribe and have a look at 1 or 2 of their videos. That would be good. That's basically what we do, as in for a business. It's buying and selling from auctions and car boots and vintage fairs and all that sort of stuff, and then we sell, hopefully. Yeah, so Lincolnshire Pickers, give them a thumbs up, a subscription, and a look at 1 or 2 of their videos if you will. I'd appreciate it a lot. And of course, most of you have come over from Kirsten's Curiosities channel anyway, so I'm sure you're all subscribed to Kirsten. Anyway, thanks very much, and I'll see you next week.